Hello everyone, my name is Owain on the Thomas Bros channel, and today I will be continuing my discussion on the Devil May Cry anime that came out about a day or two ago. Now, obviously, this is me from after I recorded the original video and after I realised it was an hour long and I had to split it into two videos. So I'll just be handing it off to my past self to continue the discussion, so yeah. Okay, so episode 6 is my favourite episode. It's when you get to find out the origins of the White Rabbit and know a bit more about Lady, but the focus is on the White Rabbit. So in terms of Lady's whole side, obviously, Devil May Cry 3, the main villain essentially, or at least the guy working with Virgil in the third game, who's bald, I can't remember his name either, but he is Lady's father in that game. That's obviously true in the show. Lady's father became obsessed with proving that demons were real, and he ended up neglecting his daughter and neglecting his wife, even I think beating up his wife when she tried to stop him. And in the end, he ended up making this elixir or whatever, or the serum. When he injected himself with it, he turned himself into a demon. And started to lose all of his hair and stuff, and he looked like how he does in the game. And he then ate. This was really dark, actually, thinking about it. Kid Lady walks in, and her mother's get out of here, run, 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 and then the father just grabs Lady's mother by the head and just eats her alive. And then, the part about it was that you've got the main, song of this show, which is Afterlife, which is an amazing song by the way, made by Evanescence, if I pronounced their name right. Probably not. But when it gets to the main part, Afterlife, the bit where they go, I'll see you in the afterlife, like that, they say Afterlife right as he grabs her head, Lady's mother's head, and pulls her towards him to be eaten. And it's I said out loud, never has watching a family getting murdered felt so cool. I guess that's probably a really wrong way of saying it, but the thing is that they had no right to play that. They had no right to play such a badass song in the middle of a child getting traumatized watching a mother getting eaten. They had no right to play such a cool song at such a awful moment, honestly. But obviously, that's when Dark Connor ended up playing on her childhood trauma and encourage her to hate demons. That's when she joins Darkon or whatever. Who cares about that side? You've got the White Rabbit. Turns out he was never a demon to begin with. He was just pretending to be a demon the whole time. He's actually just a human that just relies on demon blood to survive. So I mean, he is sort of a demon, but he's not. He's more human than he is demon. His whole backstory was that he, as a kid, was abused by his family or his adopted family or whatever, and he found comfort in reading Alice in Wonderland. And eventually, one day, the portal, one of the portals to the demon world opened, and he went through. And I love how, by the way, the animation style in episode 6, they show the contrast between the human world and the demon world by their perception. They show the human world as regular animation. The regular animation is how it is in the show, except black and white, to show how bleak this world is. Then, when you see that perspective from the White Rabbit's perspective, then when he goes into the demon world, it's all child drawings and stuff, something you'd see ripped out of Cartoon Network. And this is all meant to make it look and feel, from his perspective, him entering the demon world is him living out his childhood fantasies about going down the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland. And he goes to the demon world and he meets the refugees, and they sort of become like his family. Like, assuming he went in when he was like 10, and then you see him grow up as he goes through the demon world with these people that he sees like a family and stuff, and get to see him just like grow up and really like feel a connection, all the while watching Mundus's armies, because that's another thing. Mundus is still around. Sparda is at least presumed dead at this time, but it's unlikely that he's dead. But Mundus is still around. He's still alive. He is ruling hell, or at least the majority of it. And he's got his armies that are ravaging the land, enslaving intoxicating the air, ruining the environment, and enslaving all of these refugees. And so everyone hates Mundus, but he's just too powerful for them to do anything about it, so they all just have to serve him. But then eventually, the whole toxic air, it gets to all the refugees to a point where even their underground thing to get away from all that air can't even save them. So the White Rabbit, or at least when he was still like sane, he makes the device to open the portals to the human world. And then he starts smuggling in these refugees into the human world. They build a community in the shadows. They live in like these abandoned construction sites. They take from supermarkets during the night. They're like having a happy life, a better life than they were in hell. But then Darkom start to get suspicious. Lady and her strike team go to investigate when they see the White Rabbit as a human smuggling these refugees through, and they're on a bit of a timer because a demon dragon thing that might actually work for Mundus, I don't know. Every time I see a demon that isn't a refugee, I'm just like, Mundus! But that's chasing the refugees, so they don't have much time to get through. But then you've got Lady Strikeforce on the other side, and the White Rabbit's trying to reason with them, being like, okay, listen, just put the guns down. I can explain all of this. We're not here to fight. But then the demon dragon, goes through the portal, starts eating everyone, all the refugees and stuff. And so then the Strikeforce decide, okay, all these demons must be evil then. This is an ambush. So then they massacre all of these innocent demons in cold blood, and also try to kill the White Rabbit, who they think is helping them. And then in the end, they have to blow up the area, that whole room, to kill the demon dragon that was about to come through. The White Rabbit is the only one that survives, and this was his family. This was a community. This was his family. And Darkom, in their arrogance and hatred, has just slaughtered that entire family. So he starts to go insane, and he decides he's going to get revenge on Darkom by infiltrating them, killing their strike team, and bringing all these refugees, and he's going to bring all the remaining refugees to Earth by taking down the wall that separates the human world and the demon world. By taking down that wall, all of the refugees can easily come through. However, and I don't think he quite thought that through, by doing that, he will allow people like Mundus to come back. So, not very good. But he's devoted, he's so consumed by his anger and hatred, he doesn't really care about anything at this point. He's so consumed by this hatred and this desire to destroy Darkom and the human race as a whole that he doesn't realise that in the end, he'll just be replacing one evil, that being Darkom, and technically the human race as a whole with how awful they are to demons, and human race as a people, we aren't really that nice to each other. So it's really just replacing one evil, being humanity, but mainly Darkom, with Mundus, which is an even greater evil. But he doesn't care. He's so consumed by anger, and oh my god, it's so cool, it's so interesting. And even like he gets a rabbit head and he stitches it to his skin, and it's like, oh. But that explains his origin. In the end, getting back to like episode 7 or whatever, where Dante fights like the White Rabbit's minions. Lady at first does like a bait and switch where they think that they're gonna get Dante, but in the end they end up getting Lady because she like shoots him in the legs, throws him in like a truck, and is like, I'm gonna kill Dante because there's like a fire like flamethrower things in the truck, and it's like, I will kill the most arrogant, most annoying person in both of our species if you don't give me the amulet. So obviously he gives him the amulet, but gives her the amulet, but it all goes to shit. And in the end, Dante has to show up because Lady's paralyzed and helps her fight off the demons, kills the last like actual boss character, and assumingly kills the White Rabbit. Well, assumingly the White Rabbit commits suicide because he cuts off the chain, the amulet that Dante's holding him by, and allows himself to fall into the ocean. Also, and I jumped out of my bed, because I was watching this all while I was in bed, I was jumped out, when at the beginning of this episode you get to see the White Rabbit in the demon world, and he sees Virgil. And that was, like, Virgil in his, like, demon form or whatever, and that was really cool, and, like, the scene where he's like, I know who you are, because there was only one way, because he gives him Virgil's blood, and he's like, there's only one way you could have gotten this and given me the amulet. So he kind of, like, the White Rabbit's got some balls on him, I'll tell you that much, because he basically just gave Virgil lip. But no, so in the end, that leads into last episode, episode 8, starts off, aftermath of the battle. Everyone thinks that, oh, yeah, it's cool, though Dante doesn't exactly like Darkcom and tries to convince Lady to leave them. But then, the White Rabbit shows back up because he managed to survive. He found one of the demons that managed to get away and just, like, drains all of their blood and puts it into himself. So he basically goes on, like, a demon blood overdose and turns, like, this massive hulking demon, starts destroying everything, trying to get the full stage and the amulet and all that back. In the end, he kills, like, the fat guy that Dante's built up this relationship with, which was foreshadowed in the first episode, because he's like, I'll take a blade for you, and then he ends up getting stabbed through, like, the heart or whatever by the White Rabbit. In the end, pretty sure that activates Dante's Devil Trigger again, and they're fighting on top of, like, Brooklyn Bridge or whatever, and the White Rabbit has the Forced Edge, has the 2 amulets again, and he takes some of Dante's blood, and he's like, yes, I now have the blood of both sons of Sparta. And he's like, Dante's like, no, you don't. Virgil's dead. And then that's when he, like, shows Virgil's blood, puts it in, and Dante's like, Virgil's alive. And then the White Rabbit's like, yep, your brother's alive. And stabs him. Like, the Forced Edge becomes another sword. I think it's called, like, the Demon Sword or something. But it becomes that, and he stabs Dante through the chest with it, as all of these demons are coming into our world. And obviously that's a trend, basically. Dante just gets stabbed through the chest every single time, mostly by Virgil. And the White Rabbit's like, oh, how ironic that you will die on your father's blade, covered in your brother's blood, as you watch demons invade your world. But in the end, like, Dante activates, like, a Devil Trigger or something, and Lady's able to get a shot in, shoots the thing keeping all the demon blood powering the White Rabbit. So now that he's lost his power source, he's way weaker, like crippled essentially. And Dante activates, or does he activate Devil Trigger? I can't remember, but he ends up using his sword and he cuts the White Rabbit in half, and that's it. He's dead. Doing so, that causes the portal to the demon world to close, the walls back up. Everyone's happy. I thought that's where it was going to end. Because then they have a scene where Lady and Dante are talking like, oh, we should work together, and like Tango and Cash style, you know, Dante and Lady. But then Lady betrays Dante, puts him into stasis, and at that exact same time, essentially, you've got the Vice President who finds out that that guy from earlier was actually working with the White Rabbit, kills him, takes the White Rabbit's machine to open portals, and he opens a portal to the demon world and nukes it. Then he sets up bases in the demon world, and the president tells the world we are at war with demons, we're at war with hell. And then I can't remember the guy's name. Like in the cape, he's from the second game. Arius, that's his name. I forgot his name. But yeah, you see Arius from apparently the second game show up, and at first I was like, who is that? And then I was like, wait, it's him. And then, just as I think, okay, that's definitely where they're going to end it now, you've got all the refugees captured by humans, and then you see those iconic slashes from the 5th game, kill all those guards. And I was like, yes, it's Virgil! And then demon form Virgil shows up, turns back into his normal Virgil, and it's like, you have been saved by the Knight of Mundus or whatever, and it's like, thank Mundus and serve him, for it was Mundus that saved me from my own bindings or whatever. And he's like, these sapiens, they have no idea the storm that is coming. I am that storm. And then Bury the Light plays. I mean, granted, it's not the actual Bury the Light. It is a remake thing, which isn't as good, but it actually fits the sort of tone and stuff. And I was like, what? So they basically ended it on 3 cliffhangers at the end. Dante getting frozen, Arius and humans attacking the demon world, and Mundus and Virgil working for Mundus and gathering Mundus, what seems like an army to fight the humans. And it's like, wow, this is peak. And that's basically what I was saying throughout this entire show. This show is like peak fiction. But yeah, that's basically everything that happened. I've loved the show. I really hope they do a season 2. They've got to do a season 2. They can't end it off like that. In terms of where I think they're going to go from here with like a season 2, obviously, I feel like characters we need to say. Obviously, Trish, and Nero. Nero, I think, would probably be saved for something like a season 3 or 4, because as is, Virgil's still young, and it doesn't really seem like he's had an opportunity to have a son yet, considering the fact he's been working for Mundus. But that's another thing. So you've got, obviously, it's actually said that Mundus was the one that sent the demon to kill Dante's family. And that this time where the human world has been cut off from the demon world, the one positive is for Mundus is that it's allowed him to crush any and all resistance to his rule. Any real resistance, I mean, any actual demons that can rival him in strength. It's cut off all their resistance. So, yeah. I think, because the plasma that was infiltrating Darkcom is still alive, and he still is pretending to be a member of Darkcom, and he's sort of realising, all the stuff that's going on after seeing the Vice President, who went against Lady's order and said, kill the refugees that they were saving, just kill them all. So, and after seeing that, so I think, personally, that to mess with Dante and Virgil, the plasma is going to shapeshift into Dante's mother, and then he's just going to stay like that, and that's how we get Trish. Because rather than doing a clone thing, it's instead just a plasma who takes the form of Dante's mother and probably just decides to stay that way because maybe preferring that form for one reason or another. But I think my prediction is obviously Arius is working for the US government, which is crazy to think about. I assume what I think is going to happen, obviously, the second season is building up to this war between Mundus and the demon world against Arius, the vice president, whatever, against the human world. I think Mundus will probably have the upper hand at first, but then Arius will discover... Oh my god, I can't remember the name of the other guy that's in it, but there's a guy, there's a demon that rivals Mundus in strength and might actually even be stronger than Mundus from the second game. And Arius is connected to him. I can't remember whether he summons him or he becomes him, but Arius is like connected to him. So I can't remember the guy's name, but what I'm thinking is that he's going to Arius is going to find out about this demon, and he's either going to summon that demon. He'll probably like think that the whole of humanity is probably going to get screwed because of how powerful Mundus and Virgil are. And Arius is probably going to find that demon or find some way to become that demon. And he's going to be like, this is humanity's only chance for survival. This is the only chance that we as a human species have to survive, is by becoming the very thing that we want to destroy. So I think Arius will probably turn into or summon that demon, and then he will kill Mundus, but then Arius, after he becomes that demon that I mentioned before, he'll probably fight Mundus, because that was a thing that happened apparently. Mundus and that demon, I can't remember his name, and I feel really bad about not remembering it. But those two had a fight in hell that literally split hell in half. One half was ruled by that guy, and the other half was ruled by Mundus. So I think they will have that be a fight that happens. That demon who, let's just say Arius' demon form, because I'm pretty sure that he turns into him, but correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. So those two will probably fight, split hell in half, but in the end I think Mundus, as like if it sticks with the 8-episode thing, maybe like an episode 7 or 6 kind of plot twist, Mundus is killed by Arius in his like demon form or whatever, but then Arius becomes corrupted by that demon power, and then it's like the big surprise, he's the actual villain of the season. He kills Mundus, then he becomes corrupted by that power. Sort of ironic, because he then becomes the very thing that he set out to destroy. And then it'll take Dante and Virgil together, reuniting, maybe even using their devil trigger forms, to beat Arius. That is my prediction. It's sort of, I'd say it undermines Mundus as a character, but I don't think it does, because in my head, you'd still have Mundus as the villain for the entire show, bar from like the last episode or two where he is killed. But I think that is my favourite way of them going about it, because it connects all the plot points together. And throw Trish in there as the plasma or whatever. But that's my prediction for season 2. Obviously, Virgil and Dante going to fight. That is going to be insane. But yeah, aside from that, I don't think I have much else to say. I think it was an amazing show. Peak, 10 out of 10. Obviously. If you were to tell me who my favourite character is, obviously, Dante I think is the funniest character. But if you were to ask me, I'd probably say maybe the White Rabbit, even though every single time I saw Sparda, or even thought there was a possibility of seeing Mundus, I jumped out of my bed screaming. But since they haven't really been shown as like actual characters yet, I'm gonna have to say the White Rabbit is my favourite character. Then probably Lady, and then Dante. Though that ending is like insane. It skyrocketed the show even further than it was. I'm in something to keep my legs warm, by the way, just in case you guys were wondering. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the show. Obviously, can you guys please let me know what you guys thought of the show? And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Ta-da!